We got another receiver. The Chicago Bears have just signed wide receiver Byron Pringle from the Kansas City Chiefs to a one-year deal worth $6 million with $4 million guaranteed. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears free agency update video. If you guys want more of these, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be reacting to every single free agent signings the Bears make. And we have another receiver. And no, it's not a number one receiver like a lot of people want, which I myself want as well, but I don't know if that's coming in free agency, guys, because this free agent receiving class isn't really that deep. Okay, the main guys like A-Rob obviously wasn't coming back. Who else? Like Christian Kirk, I don't even view him as a number one, and he went for like $20 million a year to the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you look at everybody else, DJ Chark signed on a one-year deal with the Detroit Lions, so there's not too many number one guys even available this year in free agency. So I'm thinking you're going to have to get your number one in the NFL draft at pick number 39. Maybe if a Chris Olave somehow miraculously falls to you, probably won't happen, but maybe a guy like George Pickens, or maybe a guy like, I don't know, Christian Watson, something like that. So maybe we can get our number one in the draft, but this is pretty much another, I would say maybe number two, number three, maybe number four even type of receiver. Now, no way am I trying to disrespect Byron Pringle though, because he's definitely really talented. I still think he's going to be a big part of the Chicago Bears offense next year, just not as a number one. Maybe as a complementary piece. I think he could be a really nice fit on the Chicago Bears offense, especially with Justin Fields' ability to throw the football down the field, because this guy Byron Pringle, man, he can move. Okay, if I read you guys his 40-yard dash time, obviously 40-yard dash time isn't everything, but if you look at the time, he ran a 4.46 40-yard dash coming out of Kansas State back in 2018, and on tape, guys, he actually plays a lot faster than that. He really feels like one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. He is a big play machine. Okay, if you look at his time with the Kansas City Chiefs, he had a number of very explosive plays. Okay, touchdowns of 20, 30, 40, even 50 plus yards. Okay, he's that type of guy. Definitely a deep threat for a quarterback that wants to throw the football down the field, like Patrick Mahomes, like Justin Fields, but also a guy that you can dump the ball off to and hope he makes somebody miss in the open field, because he did that so many times with the Kansas City Chiefs. I was watching some of his highlights on Twitter, on YouTube, and man, he can juke the hell out of people in the open field. Okay, splits the defense, he goes left to right, he can accelerate on a dime. Like, he is extremely shifty. And for a Chicago Bears offense that didn't have much yards after the catch last year, we actually ranked dead last in yards after the catch. This actually could be a pretty good acquisition, okay? Because if you give him the ball in space, he probably is going to make somebody miss and get, hopefully an extra 5, 6, 7, maybe even more yards after that. He also has decent size, guys. Like, usually you think of these speedy, shifty guys as being smaller guys, but this guy definitely is far from small, okay? He's 6'1", weighs 203 pounds, definitely has some bulk on him, definitely is a strong type of receiver. So to get a guy like this that is bulky but also fast and shifty, maybe he could be playing in the slot for the Chicago Bears, right? Because in the slot you need a guy that's fast, but also he has enough strength on him to withstand the hits he's going to take in the open field. And I was about to say Deebo Samuel, and Byron Pringle has done that for the Kansas City Chiefs, okay, many times. If I read you guys his stats, then I'm gonna go over all of his stats with the Kansas City Chiefs. So 2018 he didn't play during his rookie year. 2019 he had 12 receptions for 170 yards and 1 touchdown. Didn't really do much during his sophomore year. Then if you go to 2020, he had 13 receptions for 160 yards, 1 touchdown. So again, wasn't really a big factor. But then in 2021, last year, guys, he actually produced a decent amount for the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, 42 receptions for 568 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. In a loaded Kansas City Chiefs offense, those are pretty decent numbers, guys. Okay, because obviously you're going to be behind Tyreek Hill, behind Travis Kelce, behind Mecole Hardman. They already have, so many great receiving options on the Kansas City Chiefs. So to still put up this, stat line, that's pretty impressive. And maybe he could be due for a breakout season with a different team, which is maybe what Ryan Poles is banking on. Now, again, this is a very cheap deal, only for 1 year. So there's practically no risk involved, guys. If he doesn't work out for us, we can just get rid of him the following year with no penalty to the cap. It's kind of one of those prove it deals where if he has a great season, if he has a great connection with Justin Fields, then yeah, obviously you re-sign him. But if he doesn't, it's fine. And on a Chicago Bears receiving core that badly needs more talent, that badly needs more dynamic playmakers, I think this is actually a pretty solid add. Again, he's not a number one, so don't expect him to be tearing up the league for like over 1,000 yards. That's most likely not going to happen. But as a depth guy, as a 2, as a 3, maybe even as a number 4, if he was our number 4, I'd be feeling really good about receiving core. But wherever he is on a receiving depth chart, I think he's going to step up and produce some big time plays for the Chicago Bears. Okay, if you have a quarterback in Justin Fields who has a phenomenal deep ball, one of the most accurate deep balls in the entire NFL last year, you know, you basically just have to give him enough time in the pocket. So offensive line still is going to be important. But if we get the proper offensive line support in front of Justin Fields, and if Justin Fields continues to develop, I think Byron Pringle could have maybe another 500-yard season, or maybe even more than that, guys. Okay, these deep, big play type of receivers, they can put up stats really quickly without you noticing. Okay, maybe they go off on some days for like, I don't know, 100, 120 yards because they have a favorable matchup that day. Like, that's what having receiving depth can do for you. It produces so many different options to go to so that your offense will be hard to figure out. Last year in the Matt Nagy offense, we only had one guy we were throwing to the entire season. That was Darnell Mooney. Allen Robinson was pretty much taken out of the offense. He didn't really play much last year, and that's kind of why our offense failed. And if you look at this Luke Getsy offense, guys, it's going to be a lot of deep developing routes. Like I've been saying, you know, this entire offseason, the Luke Getsy offense is a combination of, you know, the Joe Moorhead offense at Penn State and probably also the Shanahan offense as well. So a lot of play action, a lot of deep routes, going down the field, go routes, stuff like that. You know, these are the type of receivers you need to run those types of routes. So from a fit perspective, I think Byron Pringle fits perfectly in the Chicago Bears offense. Not as a number 1, but as a complementary piece. There's a ton of places on the field that we could use this guy. And he also plays special teams as well. Another big positive about this signing. Okay, he actually returned a kickoff like 101 yards a couple years ago while with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's played 567 special team snaps since 2019. So if you want this guy to be our kick returner, we're going to need one since Jakeem Grant left. This guy also could be our kick returner. He has speed, he has size, he has shiftiness, and it could be a 2-for-1 package that we got for a pretty cheap price. So let me know what you guys think about the signing down below in the comments. You know, again, not a very flashy signing, just a cheap one that came in wave 2 of free agency, but that's pretty much what Ryan Poles said he would do in his press conference, and he's sticking to his word. Okay, hopefully we get a number 1 though in the draft, or, you know, sometime soon. But let me know your thoughts down below, guys, and as always, bear down.